Hello, everyone. Welcome to IQI Coffee Talk Seminar, which is about property solution and financing for foreign investors. First of all, I would like to send our sincere thankfulness to all of the guests here for being with us today. My name is Kim, and I will accompany you this morning to explore more about real estate markets in today's seminar. As you all know, Vietnam is one of the hottest areas that can attract many foreign investors, especially in real estate. However, you may not comprehend or uncover enough about this potential yet obscure market in Vietnam. Therefore, IQI and Homebase organized this seminar to assist you in purchasing properties in Vietnam. I would like to introduce our speakers today, Ms. Tin An, Director of Sales at IQI, one of the leading global real estate agencies, and Mr. Philip An, Chief Executive Officer at Homebase, the innovative idea for Vietnam real estate market. They are providing home financing solutions for home buyers and real estate investors in Vietnam. Our agenda today will include two main parts. First, we will inform you about the Ho Chi Minh City real estate market outlook. Second, you will have a chance to get to know and understand more about Homebase and the
Không sao.
contents of today's seminar, Ho Chi Minh City real estate market outlook, and Ms. Tina will present these parts. Please welcome her.
Okay. Before we start my presentation, I have a confession to make. So 2 years ago, I did something that I regret, and so far that I wish that no one have know about it. And but today I feel I'm obliged to reveal it to you. In 2018, I invested in a debt project. As an experienced real estate agent, I was not very experienced, and but I'm happy that none of my clients invest in that project like I did, and I was very lucky enough to have my money back. So today I would like to present you information and new solution for investors to invest in Vietnam nowadays, and I'm happy to join with you and present the update projects. So I hope that you wouldn't make the same mistake like I did. So my presentation will have 4 parts. First is the Saigon Now and Then. The second is about the Vietnamese economy after the pandemic control. The third part is about guidelines for foreign investor when invest in Vietnamese property. And the last one is about the property portfolio, the projects for foreigners. So let's start with my favorite one. So I was born and raised in Ho Chi Minh City. In more than 20 years, I witnessed a lot of changes and a lot of development in my city. Do you know where is this place? I think most of you, when you firstly arrive in Ho Chi Minh, you will see this place first, right? This is the entry to Ho Chi Minh City, to Vietnam. This is the international airport before and after. Very famous sightseeing place, right? I think most of the foreigner, when they firstly came to Vietnam, they will go around a bit to see the famous touristy area. This is the Notre Cathedral. before and nowadays. Can you guess which part it is in the city? This is the Dong Khởi Street. This is before and this is after with many high rises. This is the Times Square building where you see a lot of color at night. This is one of the most famous street in Ho Chi Minh City Center. It's the Nguyễn Huệ or pedestrian street. It's very vibrant at the evening. And this area is the Bình Thạnh and Thủ Đức area. You see, before it's just empty land and a lot of farm. It is so many people because of urbanization. This is the city center, the Bình Thạnh area, before and now. You see so many high rises. It's like I'm living in the city and it's like I'm looking at a baby crawling in many years and developing, become a beautiful young lady. And this is the Saigon River. I think Saigon will never be Saigon without this river, this beautiful river. It has increased the property value in many, many years. So how is Vietnam now? Like other countries, Vietnam is devastated by the pandemic. So far up to now, there are about 1,069 cases with 35 deaths and 999 recoveries. And I think you have always followed the media and the news, and you know that Vietnam is one of the countries has the best organized and epidemic control program in the world. So the pandemic is like a wake-up call for the whole world to take better care of themselves and to know what is really important for them and their family. The pandemic not only affect the world health issue, but also the economics. And in Vietnamese, we have a sentence, trong nguy có cơ. It means during the difficult time, there is always opportunities. And after the pandemic, Vietnam recognized by the whole world, have a lot of attention by the whole world, and we kind of have more positive impact during and after the pandemic. And about the economy. So in 2020, most of the economy of the whole world is affected, and so is Vietnam. So World Bank predict that Vietnam will grow by 4.9 in 2020 and will increase by 7.5 in 2021 and get back around 6.5 in 2022. So it's quite high compared with all the countries in the world nowadays. So that's the prediction. Let's see the reality. So this is the economic outlook of Southeast Asia GDP growth in September 2020. Vietnam has the little green arrow, which is good, right? And I know that every day you always hear about the bad news, about the cases and a lot of insecurity around the world nowadays. But when you're with us, with IQI, we would like to share with you some good news. I think this first good news will make most of the gentlemen here very happy. The bars open again. The bars open again, not just Ho Chi Minh City, but in Da Nang nowadays, everything is also under control now. So people can freely travel the whole country, go to bars, enjoy the nightlife after a very long time quarantine and social distancing, right? And Vietnam's government has agreed to open a new policy, not only for Vietnamese, but also for foreign investor and business owner. We have more flights from Seoul, Japan, Guangdong, China, from Taiwan, and also from some Middle East Asian countries. And there are so many giant corporations has been invested in Vietnam, reallocate their manufacturing company and factories to Vietnam, like Panasonic or Samsung. Recently, Pegatron, one of the Taiwan-based company, also plan to invest US$ in manufacturing for high technology equipment. And thanks to that, the industrial land price has risen since the Q2 of 2020, even the pandemic has arisen. And there are so many opportunities for Vietnam, but also there are also many challenges for Vietnam to deal with. And recently, the Ho Chi Minh City local authority has give approval to invest more in the east of the city to merge the three districts into one new innovative city. So before we go to the market, I would like to give you some brief information about the guideline and about the update for foreign to invest in Vietnam. So let's see how positive it has changed since 2015. So before, for foreigner, if they want to purchase property in Vietnam, they cannot buy with the sales and purchase agreement. Only those that are working in Vietnam for at least 1 year can purchase property. And back then, every foreigner only can buy one for occupying, and they can only sign a long-term lease agreement. They cannot sign the SPA. But since July 2015, it's become more open for foreigner. Foreigner can buy the property and sign the SBA with their title. And the ownership is 50 years, and they can buy more than one property, as long as it's with the foreign quota. So the foreigner can buy the residential property, either it's apartment or house in the projects. For apartment, the foreign quota should be in 30% of total units in one building. And for the house, it's about 10% or no more than 250 units in one ward. So with this change, the foreigner has to write with the property, the using right, which is occupying, renting, selling, get a mortgage or donation, and the ownership right. It means that the government will issue the certificate for the foreigner. And for the taxes, when you buy or you sell or you lease, you will pay the same tax as the local. So when you purchase a property, you will need to pay 10% VAT tax based on the selling price. And there also a small administration fee and the registration tax when you register the ownership certificate, which is 0.5% on the contract price. And for the maintenance fee, you will only pay at the handover timing, which is 2% on the selling price, and it's used for maintain the common area of the project. So when you sell like other local, you will pay the 2% personal income tax on the transaction value. And for the leasing, the personal income from leasing, from renting is 5% revenue. So how do foreign buyers make payment? This is very important. Since 2015, the banking law also changed a lot, and to support foreign investor to send the money in or to exit Vietnam after they sell the property. So a lot of foreigners, they are not aware of this method. So we highly recommend you should open a Vietnamese bank account. When you buy property here, we highly recommend Vietcombank, which is the state bank, or Standard Chartered Bank, Shin Han Bank, or UOB Bank. They also support foreigner very well. They support you since the day before you purchase any property until the day that you sell the property, pay the tax, and send the money back to your country. And for foreigner, when you buy an off-plan project in Vietnam, you can pay with the payment scheme like local as well. So if you buy a project from a local developer, the total payment that you need to pay to the developer during the construction time only maximum up to 70%. And if you buy a project from a foreign developer, you only need to pay 50% during the construction timing. The remaining amount you can pay after they give you the handover notice. If they don't give you the handover notice, don't pay anything. No panic, okay? Okay, next is about the handover process. Because many foreigners, they get stuck, cannot come to Vietnam this year, but this year also many projects handover. And they will send a lot of notice to foreign buyer before. Uh, Nowadays, the developer also support the foreign buyer to authorize someone here to check the defect and have the property handover for them. You can authorize your agent or someone that you know that staying in Vietnam and to check the defect for you and get the key for you. But for the handover minutes, it should be signed by yourself. You can sign after you fly here because it will it's very important to have your signature on the handover minutes when you get the pink book, the ownership certificate. And how to find tenants. So you can appoint IQI or you can appoint your agent to help you to find a tenant or to sell the property for you and to collect the rental. So please remember that all the transaction in Vietnam is in Vietnamese dong. Either it's the renting income or the resale should be in Vietnamese dong. And the landlord has the right to cut the water and electricity if the tenant don't pay the rent. Okay, so that's the briefly of the guideline. So let's check the market now. So this is the Ho Chi Minh City project map. So at the moment we are in Thao Điền district 2. So this area is the central business district, the city center, the CBD. This is the district 4, this is the district 7, the south of the city. This area here is the district 2. This area here is the district 9. District 9. So according to the Ho Chi Minh City Master Plan, up to 2025, the Ho Chi Minh City development is direct to the south and the east. And in 2020, the government, they aim to merge 3 districts, District 2, District 9, and District Thủ Đức together. These 3 districts. It will be merged to become independent and the center administration of the east of the Ho Chi Minh City, or it will be called as the Eastern City. And the District 2 is appointed to become the administrative and financial district, the new CBD of Ho Chi Minh City. District 9 will be the technology hub of the city, and District Thủ Đức will be the education hub. And you see that at the moment, the government, they invest a lot in infrastructure. Many major infrastructure projects is happening in District 2. We have the first metro line started constructed in 2012 and planned to hand over in 2021, in the end of 2021. It's already 70% under construction now. And many projects along the metro line, especially along the Sa Lộ Hà Nội highway in Thảo Điền or An Phú. And many developers also aim to make new projects along the metro line. Not only the metro line, but we have many major expressway. We have new highway coming up in district in the east. The bus station, the eastern bus station, also will be relocated to the last station of the metro line number 1, and the new circle ring road number 3, which connect the whole 3 suburb like Bình Dương, Đồng Nai, and Long An connect to Ho Chi Minh City also go past by District 9. And because of the priority to develop infrastructure in the East, so you see that the pricing of the East property has increased quite good. For condominium, the appreciation rate at least from 8% per year up to 20% per year, depends on the area. And in 2020, due to the license issue and also the pandemic, so there are a huge drop in new supply, 50% drop compared with 2018. But after the pandemic, and after the social distancing finished, so many developers, they can have sales event and they can launch their projects. And in H2 2020, there will be more supply, more new projects upcoming in Ho Chi Minh City. So these are the projects that available, already launched or will be launched in Ho Chi Minh in 2020. But because of limited time, so I will present 3 projects. One in Thủ Thiêm, one in District 9, and one in Phan Thiết. It's a beach property. So let's go through the first 2 projects in District 2 and District 9. So the river Thủ Thiêm. The river Thủ Thiêm is located in the new urban area, which is Thủ Thiêm, next to the Thủ Thiêm 1 bridge. This is the Thủ Thiêm 1 bridge. This is the Saigon River. It's a riverfront project in Thủ Thiêm, and is nowadays this is the project that obtained all the legal documents in Thủ Thiêm, have very proper profile, and under construction at the moment. So their first launch was in May 2020. They already sold out these 2 towers, the Sand Tower and the Thames Tower. And they're planning to launch the 3rd tower, is the Hudson Tower, in October. So far, compared with other projects in Thủ Thiêm like Sala Đại Quang Minh or Empire City or the Metropole, this project has the best price for our planned project. And they plan to launch the phase 2 with the price per square meter from $4,600 US per square meter. This project is developed by Refico, and this developer, they aim to develop only high-end project in Ho Chi Minh City, such as City Garden. Have you heard of City Garden before? Yes. And the Home Villa in Thảo Điền. They're also done by this developer. The next one is more affordable for majority buyer, for local and for point. It's a brand new project by the Thảo Điền investment developer. If you've been in Ho Chi Minh City for a while, more than 3 or 4 years, you will know Mastery. Mastery Thảo Điền or Mastery An Phú is also done by the same developer. But in this phase, the developer, they aim to upgrade their brand to masterized home. And their first project is in District 9. So as you know, that District 9 will be the technology hub of the Ho Chi Minh City, and the government also invests a lot to have new high-tech park. One is here and one is down here. So the Mastery Central Point will be located in the Vinhomes Grand Park development. It's a 217 hectares development with school, hospital, shopping mall, infrastructure. Do you know Vinhomes Central Park? You know Vinhomes Central Park, right? Where they have the landmark 81. Do you know Phú Mỹ Hưng? You know Phú Mỹ Hưng, right? So Vinhomes Grand Park is very similar. Vinhomes Grand Park is half size of Phú Mỹ Hưng and also under construction. So this project, starting price only from $2,300 US, and they plan to sell in October. The good point of this project is so close to the Eastern bus station and also close to the last station of the metro line, close to the National University complex, close to High Tech Park, and also close to the Circle Ring Road number 3. At the moment, if to travel from here to this project, it takes about 30 minutes. But in the near future, when they have the Circle Ring Road number 3 finished, when you go back to Tutim, it takes only 15 to 20 minutes, depends on the traffic. And this project, very good price, like 1 bedroom, only about 115,000 US dollar. 2 bedroom is about 160, and 3 bedroom about 220 for a riverfront, high quality condominium. So in this area, like District Thủ Đức, there are about, in Ho Chi Minh City, there are about 13 million people, but only 8% that own a property until now. And in the east of the Ho Chi Minh City, like the Thủ Đức area, there are 1.1 million people, 1.1, with middle class people about 66,000 people, and will be double in 5 years time. So the need of a good rate project for home buyer, for end user, is really, really high. So this one is quite suitable for the moment. We save the best for last. This one is a Nova War Frantic. I think some of you has been in Vietnam for a while. Maybe you already purchased your first investment, and maybe you think of your second home. Your second investment, maybe a home, a dream home by the beach. So Nova War Frantic could be something that you interested. So Nova War Frantic is a 1,000-hectare tourism complex with 7-kilometer beachfront, and at the moment they are launching a new phase that offering buyback guarantee. Just imagine like you invest and you have money, right? You want to put in the local bank because Vietnamese saving rate is quite high, from 7% per year. But this developer, they offer you a buyback guarantee after 3 years. 16% per year. It depends how long you will hold the property. So the payment plan is quite flexible, from 3 to 6 years time. And they will offer you buyback from 10 to 16% per year. It can go up to 18% per year profit after 6 years. So either if you decide to buy the third year, they will offer you at least 14% per year based on the investment you already invest. Or if you can keep until the 6th year, they offer you at least 16% per year based on the money you already invest. And it's a house and villa project with golf course, with beaches, with restaurant, coffee, and everything that you can enjoy. And it's for your own staying. Okay, so most of the project that I present you all have the information, all have the showroom. If you have, if you need more information, and if you like to check the showroom at the end of our seminar, you can contact our agent and we will give you more further details. So do you have any question about my part? Okay, so we will move to the next part. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Tinan, for your informative sharings. I believe that your presentation delivered a lot of valuable information to the audiences here. So let's come to the next section. Please welcome Mr. Philip and listen to his sharings about Homebase to see how his company is helping numerous home buyers in the market.
Let me switch to your screen.
Yeah. Can we share that?
Yeah, we can.
Share that one.
Okay.
And then maybe sorry, can I? Is there a presenter's view?
Yeah, it's presented.
This one.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Wait.
So this presentation will be in English. So if you guys speak Chinese, I think Amy can send you some more information in Chinese. If you speak Vietnamese, có thể nói một chút tiếng Việt nhưng mà không được. I also speak a little bit of Spanish too. But are we good to go? Okay. Awesome. So hi, my name is Philip. I'm the co-founder and chief executive officer of this company called Homebase, right? And a lot of people don't really know what Homebase does, so I'll give you a quick summary. Today, we'll cover some very, very basic points about our company and the property market as a whole. So first of all, what is Homebase? Number two, if you're a customer and you want to buy real estate or invest in real estate, what can Homebase do for you? Number three, which type of customers would use Homebase? And number four, how do you work with Homebase as a whole? Okay. So I think Ting An just did a really, really good job of covering the market as a whole in Vietnam, right? And the general consensus that we really feel in the market and our thesis is that there's very strong appreciation. In the future, Vietnam is going to be very analogous to China's growth maybe 10, 15 years ago. And there's a lot of upside room to grow. But also the economy is becoming more and more globalized. So more and more people want to invest and more foreign investors want to invest. And actually, even in these really, really tough times for most of the world in the post-COVID era, Vietnam has done really, really well. Actually, CBRE recently published a report that said that property prices have actually increased in this time as well. But regardless of all of this, right, as a foreign investor, you may face very, very interesting questions about the market here because honestly, it's not very transparent. As an investor, you might have asked yourself stuff like, hey, if I want to buy real estate, right, can I borrow from banks? Right? Do I have to do 100% of financing or do I have to, can I get other money to help me buy real estate? You might have asked, if I don't want to buy primary market, if I want to buy older apartments, secondary market, can I get financing for that? And, as a foreign investor, most of your money might be in your home country. It might be in the UK or in Singapore, and you don't want to move all your money here, right? How do I do that? And on the other side, some investors ask us, hey, I know that villas or landed property or land even appreciates way more than apartments. Can I buy those, right? Some people may ask, can I buy under the Vietnamese quota? And usually the Vietnamese quota is somewhere between 15 to 20% cheaper than the foreign quota. And our foreign investors ask, can I buy this? Because it's way cheaper and it's the same asset, right? And a lot of our clients are Chinese, right? And right now there's actually some dispute between China and Vietnam. So some of the notary offices don't, accept Chinese passports as well, right? So, can I buy that as well, right? And actually the answer to most of these questions is actually no. There's no financing. It's very, very hard. It's very transparent. It's not very transparent. And what we see is that these classes of issues fall into two main categories, right? Number one, on one side is the financing, right? How do I get money to buy transactions? How do I get money to buy real estate here? And the other one is more on the legal ownership, right? How can I access other asset classes of property? Or can I buy under other asset classes that traditionally foreigners cannot, right? And that's actually exactly where Homebase comes in. Then this is exactly where our value is. So Homebase provides real estate financing solutions and ownership solutions, especially targeted towards a lot of foreign clients here in Vietnam. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by financing and ownership? Well, there's three main things that we do at Homebase. Number one, we help with financing. So overall, right, you can think of us as we can provide up to almost 90% of the property financing for almost any property in the market. We can structure a loan agreement or a contract, a financial contract with you for up to 10 years, where you have a lot of time to pay this back instead of having to put in money from day one. And we can finance almost any property with almost property price, right? How that's actually manifests in terms of our financing proposals is actually two main ways. Number one, some of our customers want to buy out a property and live in it and own it, right? And this is very analogous to a full synthetic mortgage, something that you get from the bank, right? So you basically, you put in some amount and over time you slowly own it out and you slowly buy out more and more ownership. But we also have another value proposition for a lot of foreigners who maybe they don't have a lot of money and they don't want to own out the entire property. So what we do here is you can put in 30%, we'll put in 70%, and we'll allow you to maintain that stake. And in the meantime, you just pay rent to us, right? And you can only maintain a certain amount of property ownership. And this gives you way more flexibility and the option to buy out more over time. And I can go into these financing proposals later, but this is generally what our universal financing looks like. But secondly, we also help with ownership. And when I say ownership, I mean that we can actually finance almost the entire market, right? We can do primary market, so just straight from the developer, but also secondary market, which are transactions that have already been done before when buying from individuals. But moreover, our value proposition here at Homebase is that we actually allow you as a foreign client to access properties that traditionally you cannot, because we can co-invest with you under a local company. So now, even if you want to buy landed property, right, property with land like villas, or even land itself, right, we can actually help you access those kind of asset classes. And this is the same thing with Vietnamese quota. So if you want to buy property that's under the Vietnamese quota, that's around 15 or 20% cheaper, we can help you with that as well. And then the last value proposition we do is more about the advisory. And this is very, very important because the market is very hard to navigate. And we are coming with you as a co-investor. So our incentives are aligned in terms of our financial incentives. So we've done anything from advisory on the legal side of things. How do I own property? How do I get nominees? To even the tax and finance. We actually are a Singaporean parent company. So we're very familiar with currency hedging, Forex risk, moving money in and out of the country. To even very unique situations. We've had clients who are stuck in Australia, stuck in overseas, and they cannot come and transfer it, right? So we've done legalized POAs or overseas title transfers for them as well. And fundamentally for us, our value is that we're on your side because we're putting money where our mouth is, right? We're investing money alongside you as well. But I think it's really important to understand what Homebase is not, right? In order to understand what we are, right? Homebase is not a real estate developer. So, what I mean by that is that we don't have set inventory. We don't say you have to buy this project, you have to buy this project. Again, we're quite flexible. We can finance almost any project in Ho Chi Minh City and almost every type of asset class. We're not a broker or agency. And this is actually why we collaborate with, agencies and agents like IQI. Because we actually don't recommend you the property. We're actually just more of a property financing company, and we leave it to the experts like them to actually, recommend the property. But that being said, we'll actually approve and deny if it's a bad investment, for example, right? And we're not someone like FE Credit or Home Credit, which is basically, more analogous to a loan shark, where they're giving you interest rates of 50% and they don't check your credit. We actually have a credit check process, so we want to make sure that, your property investment will be safe, but also that you won't default on your obligations as well. And I think to illustrate and really understand which type of customers want to use Homebase, I'll just give you some general motifs or examples, right? On one side, you have a lot of investors, right? You might have someone like Rob, who basically, he has a lot of money, but he doesn't want to put 1 million or 2 million in 1 or 2 properties, right? He wants to diversify his assets, right? And before, maybe he wants to buy a relatively expensive property, he can only buy 1. But now with Homebase, he can buy 3 or 4 and diversify his portfolio. You might, be someone like Chang, who, maybe she is a citizen of China, and traditionally she cannot access every type of property in the market. But now with Homebase, she can, and we help you give her that access. You may be someone like Sam, who, he's an expat who lives here, and his company pays for his monthly rent, right? And for us, it's a very easy sort of value proposition where why would you pay for rent every single month when you take the same amount of money and you can accrue ownership, right? And if you want to leave the country, you can sell and get all your money back, right? It's basically a no-brainer for that. Or you might be someone like Lynn, who even is a local, if she goes to a bank, she gets a very, very low LTV, a loan to value ratio. So the bank won't lend her a lot of money or at very, very high rates. And we're more flexible with these kind of situations. Next, you may be asking, why should I use Homebase? What can Homebase do for me? So the first value proposition that we provide is just financing as a whole. But not only do we provide financing, we do it on your own terms. So every single customer that we serve is different. When you talk to us, we'll actually customize the financing schedule depending on your sort of unique situation in terms of how much you want to put in, what the terms are, what the duration is. And we want to make that experience customized exactly to you. We're an aligned co-investor. What that means is that we're putting, money where our mouth is, right? So maybe some properties that you identify, you think it's really, really good, but we think that after talking to the government, after talking to all our different sources, that there might be information about this project that doesn't suggest that it's very positive in the future. And if you're a client that comes to us with these kind of properties, we'll actually tell you or re-navigate you towards properties that we think will have high capital appreciation. Because again, we also don't want to lose our money in the future alongside yours as well. And finally, we can leverage economies of scale. Fundamentally, when we get financing from banks or other financial institutions, we're doing it at bulk. So sometimes we're able to pass on these discounts to our consumers as well. And as a consumer, you guys get sort of the benefit of that. Traditionally, we've actually have been flexible against financing almost the entire type of the market. And these are just some type of the examples that we've done before. So everything from secondary apartments that you probably are recognized, right, to even primary market apartments that are straight from the developer, to even landed properties like villas or townhouses, to even land itself. So we worked across most of the market, and we're actually quite familiar with all the types of asset classes in Ho Chi Minh City as well. And finally, I think the last thing is just, if you're interested, how do you work with Homebase? So it's actually quite easy, 4-step process. Number one, you come talk to us, you explain your situation. You might say, hey, these are my financial goals. This is what I want to do. This is what I can pay every single month. And we can customize the financing plan for you. After that, you agree to the financing plan. We actually will pass you to an agent like IQI, like any of the agents here, and you guys go shop for properties just like normal. And again, we don't limit you to a certain set of inventory. You can actually access almost the entire market. And after you identify that property, you come back to us. We basically evaluate, this is a good project, right, that we're willing to finance. And after that, that's all. We put in our money, you put in your money, you're on a payment plan, and you can actually exit whenever, and you can actually move in from day one as well. Yeah, that's very, very fast. I have some more slides that are Q&A, but please ask me if there's any other questions, and this is our contact information as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip, for your exciting models as Homebase. So now it's time for the audiences to ask questions. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands. Or you can also write down your questions in the paper that we provide and send them to us.
Yes.
How long, Philip, is Homebase in Vietnam? How many years?
We've been in Vietnam for around a year and a half, but our company is actually Singaporean. So we started in first and then came to Vietnam around it. Any other questions?
If you have any questions, just write down your questions on the paper and I can help you to answer. In any language.
So, Spanish.
You have a question on the Zoom, like this manager had a question.
Okay.
What's the interest rate?
So the question on Zoom was, what is the interest rate like for if you go with something like Homebase? Effectively, it's actually the same as any local banks because we actually work with probably 5 or 6 of the banks here to raise financing ourselves. So usually it's in the range of anywhere between 10 to 12% in V&D, which is pretty standard among the banks here. Yeah. Any other questions?
Miss Nicholas, I have a question that how project these developers handle warehouses to foreigners?
Yeah, so like I say in the beginning, because many foreigners they cannot enter Vietnam, so they have a problem when they actually have to present it to have their apartment. So the developer they can help you, like you authorize someone here, like you have the form from developer and you fill the form to authorize a person in Vietnam, and you need to go to the Vietnamese embassy in your country to have it notarized and send the original copy to developer. And then the person that you authorize can come and have the apartment handover.
Do we need to open a bank account and how right now we can fly over?
For the foreigner to open bank account in Vietnam, so before you need to present at the bank to have a local bank account open. But at the moment, some banks like Standard Chartered Bank, they support clients to have a bank account open offshore in some certain countries, in Hong Kong, or in Taiwan, or in China. So one of our partners from Standard Chartered here today. So later I will give you the contact via email so you can contact Standard Chartered Bank directly.
That being said, actually with Homebase, we do have a lot of customers who are foreign investors who actually are living in Canada or Singapore or Korea, and we can actually work with them even on an overseas basis. So even if you can't fly here, that's an option that we give you more flexibility on, because we're also a Singaporean company, so we have more flexible arrangements in terms of financing on that front as well.
So if we were to go with you guys for the financing,
Yes.
what sort of rates would you apply? Would you say, since you guys are from Singapore,
Sure.
would you apply the rates that is from Singapore, or would it be using the local rates?
Yeah, so good question. So the rates would be actually the more local rates in Vietnam, which the benchmark rates, if you go to any local bank, is around 10 to 12%. And the pure reason is because even if you can sort of get loans from Singapore, they need collateral in Singapore as well. Because even if you go to a DBS, they won't accept collateral in Vietnam. That being said, in some cases, we have been able to secure rates that are a little bit lower than the banks here because we do lending at scale. And also we also have other types of financial investors that work with us to deploy capital in this country.
So the difference is that you guys would set the collateral in Vietnam.
Yes,
Something
essentially.
different from that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So traditionally, if you're actually an expat or foreigner living here, the banks here can only give you loans on the duration of your residency permit. So for most people, it's the TRC, it's 2 years. So you basically have to pay out like a 70% mortgage in 2 years, which is quite painful. But now with Homebase, we're able to sort of extend that period to 10 years or be a little bit more flexible in terms of how we structure our financing. Yeah.
There's another question. I'm currently in Australia. How can I transfer property in Vietnam?
I think you can.
This is actually something else that we've actually collaborated with King On and IQI on. So one of, for example, the clients that she referred to us actually was stuck in New Zealand and could not come back because of COVID. So one of the sort of other services that we do provide for them was we actually did the POA process where we actually legalized the documents and sent it over, work with the embassy in that country to make sure that the process is very smooth. And we also work with the developer as well. And we made the process work without that person actually having to leave the country. So if there's a bespoke situation like that, we're actually very happy to help as well. Yeah.
So, your company loan money to people, for example, me. So we signed a loan contract with you, and I get the money, and then I go to the developer and I sign a purchase contract with the developer on my side. So.
Oh. Yeah. Yes. Oh, sorry. Do you mind repeating?
She asked, so like if she get loan with you and she will sign a contract with the developer like normal, right?
Actually a little bit different, right? So how we work for our financing is actually if let's say that you get money from us and we finance 70% of your property, right? Even if it's primary market, actually our name would have to be on the title of the property if there's no collateral, right? But what we can offer sort of to give you more reassurance is we can work with almost any of the banks here, any of the big banks to give you a performance guarantee that basically says that if there's any default or any obligations that we do not satisfy, right, you can actually go to the bank and get your money back. So it's like extra layer of protection in exchange for that sort of title ownership. Yeah.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
So Homebase is kind of what is the type of this company? Is this a financial institution belong to the government or private?
It's a private company.
Private.
Yeah.
So how long time maximum? How many years you can loan to?
The contracts that we signed so far are 10 years at max. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask for insurance. So if Homebase holds the title to the property or insurance purposes, and who is entitled to that?
Yeah, so actually, the question is basically if Homebase holds the title, like who's in charge for all the other insurance and all the other fees? The answer is actually the client. And the reason is just because when we're financing the property, we do the financing, but actually the right to use the property, the right to rent it out, the right to, if you want to redecorate it and renovate it, is actually all of the clients. So we have some clients who actually want to live in the property, but we also have clients who are running like Airbnbs or short-term rentals. And in terms of those rental proceeds and profits, you keep all of those as well. So, sort of the analogous side is that for all the management fees that may incur or the utilities or the insurance, it's also borne by the client.
So your company a private company,
Yes.
and you don't get the license from the State Bank of Vietnam.
Yeah, so actually our company is not like a lender. We're not actually like a bank. So it's slightly different in terms of the licenses that we need. Yeah.
In Vietnam Bank.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So do you have like partial financing arrangements? Say for example,
Yeah.
I'm interested in a property.
Yes.
I managed to finance about 50 to 60%.
Yes.
The remaining I get you guys for that refinancing part to be maybe 10 years. Do you do such a thing or must it be like 100%?
Oh yeah, actually, most of our arrangements, we actually won't do 100% of the financing because we also need the client to put in some skin in the game. Usually the percentages that we do are anywhere up to 70%, but we have clients who put in 100% themselves because they just don't need our financing and they just want us to hold the title. But we also have clients who ensure 50-50 and 80-20, like all of the sort of, yeah.
So like you mentioned that if they were to go 100% and for your service is just to hold the title, what's the benefit of that?
Yeah. So sometimes
If I
it's
pay 100%, I should hold the title, right?
Sometimes it's being able to access, properties that you traditionally cannot, just because of foreign ownership restrictions in Vietnam. So one analogous example is even if you buy at any of the developments along Hanoi Highway, some of the prices for local quota might be 20 or 30% cheaper than that of foreign quota. It might be that you have a unit that's a really good view, right? But it's only local quota. It might be that you want to buy a villa or you want to buy a landed property, and traditionally you as a foreigner, you cannot access any of that. It might be that you have a Vietnamese wife and you don't want to have a dispute basically, and those kind of things as well. Yeah.
So for that kind of arrangement, I'm interested in that, right? So how does that work? Do I need to speak to developers myself and then reach out to you guys to play that function?
It's actually very, very simple. You just go around the basically normal property buying process, and now you can just access the entire market. Yeah. Yeah.
And you will do that also if it's not full financing, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what do you charge for holding the title?
It would depend on the specific arrangement because sometimes our customers ask us to hold the title and also do the financing. So that fee is slightly lower than if we just hold the title. But sometimes it depends on the specific property price. So if it's a certain amount, it's a percentage, like a pretty low percentage on it on a yearly basis.
And you guys offer title transfer
Of course, yeah, yeah. So even regardless of the arrangement, you actually have full control of the title. So if you want to sell it, if you want to transfer it to someone else, you can actually choose when to do that. Yeah. Yes.
What currencies do you predominantly use for financing?
I mean, if we're buying property here in Vietnam, it's typically BND, but our customers are quite international. So, anywhere from SGD, USD, euros, like
Anything and everything. Russian rubles. Okay.
Bitcoin. No, just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, but fundamentally for most property transactions in Vietnam, it has to be in BND. Yeah.
Small Chinese.
Yeah.
Of English. Chinese speaking more can get the understanding.
Sure.
中国人买的话，这个产权是怎么弄？
产权就是
第一个问题啊，比如说我付30，公司70，产权如何界定？第二，100万人民币为例，贷款100万人民币啊，分10年，10%一年的利息，大概一年利息是多少？
我一会儿可以给你那个给你一点数据，我呢
先说产权吧。
产权就是 ownership， right？ 产权就是我们公司的。因为如果我们如果你有那个 collateral， 如果你有一笔钱或者一个别的就是一个别的那个家可以给我们那个算 collateral， 我们可以给你把那个权放你的名字里。
那些 collateral 什么就是抵押。
抵押就是抵押。
比如说在中国有房产可以抵押。
但是如果没有，必须是我们的名字。但是我们可以跟那个很多这种的大的银行合作。我们这个银行就说，如果我们这个公司跑走，或者把你钱或者把你家拿走，你可以去这个银行，我们这个银行把你的钱都给你回。
保险，
这样一个保险，担保呀。
如果是中国有房产可以抵押，
中国
产权可以
必须是那个越南的。
越南
So translated in English?
ownership.
Ownership, okay.
He told me he's buying 3 properties with us, and you should too. That's the exact translation.
Okay. Same thing.
Yeah. He said he's writing a check now, so that's why he's on his phone. Yeah. Yeah. 不客气. Oh, actually, translate. He was actually asking about the ownership, the same question about the ownership. You know, what happens to the ownership if we finance 70% of it and he puts in 30%? And again, the answer is that, you know, for those type of arrangements, unless there's collateral that you can give us, it has to be under our name. But in exchange for that, we're actually happy to collaborate with any of the major banks here, guarantee for you. So to make sure that, you know, even if something happens, you can always go to the bank and get your money out. So yeah, it's like an insurance policy, and yeah, of sorts. Yeah.
I only have one question. It's
Yes.
like for beginning, the example that apartment is 5 million. So after 10 years, and when they want to buy back from the price increase already.
Yeah, the price appreciate.
Yeah. So we actually have different financing arrangements and options based on that as well. So we have some plans where we pre-agree on a price that will increase, but we have some plans where you can buy back at the original price. So, you know, we have one plan where you can just lock in at the original price, and it's very similar to a mortgage, and you can just buy back at the original price, even if the price has, you know, increased a lot. So you get all the profit as well. Yeah. So we have different options depending on sort of your own, you know, comfort and what works well for your goals. Yeah.
Another question, like we are foreigner, we buy the property, maybe price is 30% higher than Vietnamese, right? But you know, finally the ownership is your company. So when we deal with the business, we still need to buy in the foreigner price, or can we buy in the Vietnamese price?
You can buy in the
Vietnamese price.
Yep.
Yeah, because you buy in a Vietnamese style.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just Miss Amy see if the price is increasing, right? Later I still can buy back on the original price.
Yes, yes. So we have different plans based on sort of your own financial goals and you know what works well for you.
Okay, is there any other policy, special policy, can make a home base and the owner, me, for example, together the ownership, or must be home base 100% ownership? Take the money.
So usually, if you're a foreigner, you want to be on the title, then it has to be foreigner quota. So there's really no concept of sort of mixed quota here. So if you want to be on the title, it's the same policy about collateral or having other types of assets that can secure against our money that we put in. Yeah.
But that can only Vietnam property to 抵押嘛，只能在越南抵押。
只能用越南的，但是你可以买越南的，也可以买就是外国人的 quota。
Ownership is the issue.
Any questions?
Well, one more question for that. After 10 years, can the property ownership transfer back to them?
Yes, of course. So for we are on a financing proposal or plan, and after that time period, it's actually your property. So we transfer it exactly back to you. So you can either decide to sell it, you can decide to keep it, you can decide to you know, rent it out, you know, whatever it is, right? But the goal is actually for us to just be the financier for the short term, and then after that, you know, you can actually decide to do whatever you want with it. We also have an option where some customers, they want to save up, and you know, if they want to exit 2 years later, right, you can actually choose to do that as well. Or if you want to sell it, you know, even 1 year later, it's fine as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes.
About the tax, if it is the entitled home base, then you are under the corporate
pay 2%
这个
tax
优
on
势我
the
觉得
resale.
很有难
So
想。
how do you manage, let's say, the difference between the corporate tax and the individual tax? As an individual, you basically see no difference in the property price, like and the implication. So it's actually the exact same process in terms of what you pay at the end of the year.
Is there any visa requirement for to work with you when you want to buy a property?
No, because I mean, even some of our customers, they're like foreign investors. They live in Canada. They don't even live here. And basically, we help them do that kind of thing.
There's one more question.
Yeah.
Can they exist any time before 10 years? Will there any other costs incurred with home base?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. You can actually exit. Oh, sorry. The answer is yes. You can actually exit at any time. In terms of the cost, it really just depends on the financial institution that we partner with on your specific project. So if there's a bank, for example, that charges a 2% fee upon exit, within 3 years, then we probably just pass it at cost to you. But usually that's around the general index of the financing term or the duration where there's a fee. Yeah.
I think there's one more question that everyone here want to know about. What documents needed to qualify for a loan? How do you approve the applicants?
Yeah, so for us, the process is quite straightforward, as I showed in the four main steps. For us, usually when we do a credit check, we look for two main general types of factors. Number one is, let's say that you want us to put in 50% of the property price and you'll put in 50% of the property price from day one. So we're required to see documents with savings of at least that amount. And number two is just your monthly household income to make sure that every single month, sort of your net outflow can balance what you need to pay to us, your obligations. But yeah, those are the general main categories that we look for. Yeah, happy to take any other specific questions if it's more on a personal basis as well. Yeah, I also have some business cards, so if you guys have questions later, feel free to reach out.
So I think we have no more questions on the Zoom as well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much to stay in to the end. So we have some gift for you at when you leave. So thank you again for your attention and your time today. And if you have any question, please get back to us. Thank you. Have a good weekend.